Now, I have always had a fascination with the idea of building a lean-to shelter out of fully natural materials. Actually, I've had the idea ever since I've started episode 1 of this series. And originally when I started this series, I wanted to make not exactly a lean-to shelter, but like a bush hut out of natural materials. But with the sticks down here, they just broke too easily and it just wasn't going to be possible. So that plan was quickly scrapped. And if you've been watching the series for a while now, you will know that that plan turned into a tent, as you can see behind me. And that is the project I've been working on for the past year and a bit now. But I've always wanted to make a lean-to shelter. And I've just never really gotten around to it, but I figured after the massive flood that came through, and I've pretty much recovered from it now, I've found pretty much everything that floated away except for one thing, my watering can. Probably my most useful item down here. It's gone. So it's back to using the old method of getting water, unfortunately, until I can get a replacement. But now that after the flood there is a heap of just sticks down here, and I'm hoping I can find some to salvage to turn into a small lean-to shelter. Now, I'm not exactly the greatest craftsman. I have very small idea of what I'm doing when it comes to building a lean-to shelter. I've watched a few other people do it, and you know, they make it look easy because they're professionals. I'm not a professional. This video is either going to be success or a big stinker, and I have a feeling it could be a big stinker, but hey, we'll give it a go. I may as well use all the wood this flood has gifted to me. And just a small update if you've been wondering about that, as I updated on the flood from last episode. I have pretty much recovered. The damages weren't too bad. Some stuff is a bit ruined, but I've been able to salvage the important stuff, as you saw me doing last episode. And there was just a few other smaller things I fixed up off camera as well that I just noticed a little bit later, like the watering can. But overall, the flood, it hasn't damaged me badly. It wasn't good, but you know, I got through it. And now that I know where the water flows through here, it's gonna happen again. We know there's gonna be a flood like this again. It could happen worse. But what my plan is going forward, I want to like build a giant net where all of my stuff got brought to kind of, you know, lower the risk of my stuff floating away further and losing it for good. Like, I just build a giant flood catching net to catch everything, because obviously I can't prevent the water from coming up. I can't move this anywhere because it's either on the neighbour's property, or the council land, so it's really, this is the only spot I can have it. That's on my land. So my best thing I can do is just surround this area with a giant net to catch everything when another flood does come, and pray that the net doesn't get taken out by some massive log or something. That's really the best I can do, and hopefully it works. But you know, I've rambled on enough. Let's get into that lean-to shelter, or attempt to. Now, I am hearing some thunder over that way, and if it does storm, I'm going to be hightailing it out of here, because the creek, it hasn't exactly gone. It's been a few days since the last episode. If you saw the creek then, it's still very high up. It hasn't gone down. It's still filled, so it looks like we're going to be, there's more rain still predicted to come, so it looks like it's going to be a lot of up and down with the creek. So I don't know how often I'm going to be able to get across here, but hopefully it's not too bad, because storm season this year has been horrible. It's been bad. And last year it was nothing. I got nothing down here. And this year, the tent's been submerged underwater. There's just junk everywhere. I don't even know where my watering can could have ended up. It could be anywhere. I'm just lucky it's the only thing that I lost to the flood. I'm very lucky that that's the case. But anyway, here is all the stuff that's kind of been washed up by the floods. We've got heaps of sticks. And who knows, maybe if I'm lucky I'll find the watering can in here, but I don't think I will. But just kind of looking through. Now, I know this structure I need to make, you know, a lean-to tent. You need to have your 2 poles and then a one on top. And then you've got to have like your back wall leaning down. I'm just trying to think. It doesn't have to be the sturdiest stick, so I feel like this one here is a good start. If I can find one this size, we should be good. And then, oh, maybe. Nah, it's too fragile, it's not going to do. Okay, I've got a big one here. And I feel that I could definitely snap it to the right length. It should work. Right, so we got our length here, going like that. So it needs to be snapped here. Right, there we go. Right, so we've got our 2 sticks to hold up the shelter. Now, what I need to look out for now is one I can put across to hold a bunch of the sticks that are going to be on the back. Now, I'm seeing this one here. This one here, if I can snap that, it's going to be good. Just got to be careful there's no snakes hiding out in here. Alright, if I can snap this to a good length, I reckon we're golden. Alright, so I'm trying to think. If I snap, I'm thinking here. There we go. That's good. Alright, so we'll put that with the pile. It's going to be our overhang. Now, just to hold things up, I do want to get one of the back supporting sticks now, but I'll do all the rest once I've got the main structure up. I'm thinking that what we got here should do the trick. If we can just snap it into a few smaller pieces, should be good. Okay, so currently the biggest issue I'm facing is I don't actually know where I want to put this thing. Because I've got a lot of other projects I want to put down here. Some smaller other tent structures, so I want to put it in a spot where it's not going to get in the way of those ideas. And I don't even know where those are going to go yet. So, to know where to put my little lean-to tent, I'm probably going to have to figure out where my other ideas are going to have to go first. And I guess this will be the episode I announce what all these ideas are going to be. If I haven't already. I can't remember if I did an episode 100 or not. It's been a while. But we'll go do that now. Thunder's getting closer from that way, so I'm just keeping a watch at the radar as well. There's quite a lot of stuff, but it looks like it's going past me at the moment. But we just have to see. Now, as you know, we've got our big main tent here, which I do want to change up this year. It's going to be a big year down here. Now, if you've been watching the series, as you know, I want to finish up this whole bush project this year. And honestly, I could have finished this whole project a year ago if I had the budget. The biggest issue that stops me from getting things done is budget. Well, I'm in grade 12 this year. I graduate school this year. I don't exactly have a whole lot of income coming in. I don't have a proper job. I have things that I do to get money, but nothing that's, you know, giving me money in a persistent way is what I'm trying to say. But basically, I don't have the budget to just go video after video. I ain't no Mr. Beast or whatever. So, as soon as I get the budget for these projects, don't worry, full steam ahead. But until then, things are just kind of looking a bit messy and a bit dirty after the whole floods. But to give the basic rundown, plan is main tent here. Now, this side here, the little main entrance, I'm going to keep that relatively how it is. But in here, I want to take all that out and I want to do something else with that room instead. Put a back wall at the back there, and I was originally going to have like a wall along here, but I've decided I want to keep it open. I just like it better like that. But then what I want to do with what's in there is I want to have somewhere over here a separate tent as like a dining tent, just more open, bigger roof space for when I have people over. And then what I also want to do is, because I've got my garden area in the back here, which after the flood I didn't lose any plants, which is good. but the heat can get to them on the hotter days, and I'm not always down here to manually water them, so that can be a problem. It hasn't been a problem because the amount of rain we've been getting this storm season, but to have like a greenhouse type tent where I can store them in, they can get rain, they can get sunlight still, but they're not going to get so much sunlight that it's going to kill them when I'm not there. That's what I want to do. I want to have like a greenhouse area over there so I can put any future plants in there. Anything in the garden now will stay, but anything new I'm going to have in the greenhouse instead, because I like gardening. And what I don't like is having all of my stuff burnt to a crisp in the hot sun. So I need to find a place for that somewhere over here as well. I'm thinking in there. And then there's one more thing. I want to have, as you know, if you've been following the series, there's been stuff that's been kind of creepy down here, paranormally kind of stuff, I guess, but whether it is paranormal or not is still unknown, I guess. There's been instances where there's been possible sightings of stuff, but you never really know, and I never really quite want to just cross it off as paranormal, because you don't know really is the truth. But I want to have like a separate tent dedicated to just paranormally type stuff. I don't really know how to explain my idea for it. I don't even know what I'm going to put in it yet, but the point is I want a separate area just for anything related to that. As you know, the area I used to have is now an aircon cult as of episode 100. So, yeah, we don't use that area anymore. And I wonder how that area went in the floods. But now I need to figure out where I want stuff. Greenhouse area, I feel clearing out here, flattening this space. I feel like that's going to be my best bet. It's a big open area, and if I'm lucky, and what I'm planning works, I'll be able to get an old gazebo to put down here, and then get tarps along the sides to block it off from animals. If I can get that idea to work, this will be the perfect place for it. So I'm hoping that's the way things go. And then we've got a property border there. So that gives us this space here. I'm feeling I could clear out this area here, and that could be our dining area. Just in here. It'll be a bit of work to clear out, but once it's all flattened, I feel like that's going to be a good area. It's just a case of getting trees and stuff to support the tarps, but if not, I'm sure I can figure out a way to get some other type of support beam, some kind of pole to lift it up. And this area wasn't as affected as bad with the floods, so I'm feeling like that'll be a good area as well to keep it. I'm just trying to keep everything all in a, nice kind of compact area. So when I do add the flood net, it's not going to be so large that it's going to be too costly. So I'm just trying to keep everything nice, compact, and easy, and, doable within the next year. And hope another flood doesn't come through in the meantime. Because that flood net, it's going to be a while before we get that idea up and running. That one's going to need a lot of thought out thinking for that one. So we probably won't be seeing that idea for a while, if I can get the budget to do it. So that just leaves our area for the Ghost Seeker, whatever I'm going to call this thing. And I want to hurry this up because I've dragged this on for a while and we haven't actually done any lean-to building. But I'm thinking somewhere just here we'll do it fine, because then we have the greenhouse there, we can have our little ghosty thing there, a little diney thing over there. And with that in mind, I could actually have the lean-to on the other side of the plant graveyard here, just at the back there. So if I clear all that out right now, I feel like that is going to be a good spot. So, I have rambled on enough. I've said everything I needed to say regarding things going forwards. Let's just do it and hope it works. Alright, so here is the cleared out spot here. That should work, I reckon. It's just this big grass that needs to go. Whoa. Thunder from that way. I've gotten 2 scam calls in the past hour now. This is getting ridiculous. Anyways, it's time to start putting up the frame. Well, I'm gonna hope it's gonna work. If you're wondering what I'm using to hold it up, I'm gonna be using these things here. I've never used them before, so I don't know how well they're gonna work, but I'm gonna give it a try. And they're the only non-natural bush thing I'm using to do up this thing, so let's hope this works. Alright, it's time to find out if I can actually make a lean-to shelter. Alright, so we've got our base sticks here. Thinking something like this far apart. Have that stick out like that. Thinking, yeah, that should work. I hope. It won't be that high. Remember, I've still got to dig it into the ground. So we're going to start with this stick here. It appears I've hit a root already. But the soil is a lot easier to dig through after the flood. Thank goodness for that, at least. Big old root in there. I don't think that this will be... Yeah, it's not going to be deep enough to hold it up. Alright, well, fill in that. And try a little off to the right. Alright, this should be deep enough. Alright, it's holding. That's a good start. Very good start. Now I'm just going to get the other one in. Alright, I've got the second hole dug, but while I was digging, and I'll play the clip now, there was as you just heard then, that's if the camera picked it up, I'm sure it did, but there was a very loud popping noise when I was digging, and the shovel bent back a bit, like here, so I don't know if it was the shovel, something in the shovel that just snapped, or it was one of the roots. The shovel still works, so I'm hoping it was just one of the roots, because it's my trusty shovel, I don't have anything else otherwise, and that would be a problem. But put it in the wrong way, so just gotta lean like that. Alright, our 2 frames are up. Now for the difficult part, it's getting this part here to connect. So that's going to be interesting. Gotta crack open these. Alright, hopefully they work. I have no idea how good these things are. So I'm going to go one side at a time. Actually, there's a little stick that can hold it up that side maybe, while I do up this side hopefully. Alright, that idea didn't work, so I'm going to try wrapping it over the top. Alright, our frame here is actually holding. So it seems we are off for a good start. All that I need to do now is to get the bits leaning off the back. Alright, I've got some sticks here. Yeah, I'm going to need it pretty long by the looks of it for this to work. Alright, I'm going to go get a whole bunch of long sticks now in hope of setting up the entire back wall, so I'll see you guys when I've got them all. Alright, I got myself a pile of sticks here. I'm not too sure how this is going to work though. But what I'm thinking is I dig little holes for them to go into at the back here as I lean them against our main frame. Alright, what I'm doing, instead of digging a hole, is I'm kind of just giving it a little shove into the ground. That seems to be working. Hole here is starting to lean. Might have to change how I've wrapped it. The stick itself is on a lean, which means it's gonna have to be replaced. Alright, I've got it leaning on two separate sticks now. I'm going to try that. Alright, I have no idea if these things are even holding up because they're already falling apart, but they're the best I've got. So I'm going to try leaning everything back on it again and see how we go this time with the new stick. It might just be the dirt in the area. I might need something to hold it up. From what I'm gathering, it doesn't seem what I do here. It's going to lean on the one side. And maybe the other when I start putting stuff there. So I might get a log for extra support. Alright, you can see what I've done here. I've put this log along it. Let's see if that helps the support. Okay, so we've got our frame up, I guess. I don't think I'm going to be able to put a full back wall on this thing, just because I feel like the weight might be too much. I don't know, I think it could either be a case of maybe the sticks I'm using, the soil, or maybe it just needs to be put deeper. I'm not too sure. Maybe I've built it too tall and that's the issue. But for a first time, I've got something up. So I guess that's not too bad. The real question is, how is it going to do when it gets windy? Is it just going to shove it over, or what's going to happen? I guess if it does get shoved over, it's an opportunity for us to try again, try a new design, see what happens there. Alright, so, you know, all the big pros, the professionals, when they get their actual good frames up, you know, they put a bunch of like moss or something in the background. Unfortunately, moss isn't going to work in this environment, it's just going to die. And honestly, anything I try to put on the back of it's probably going to die. So I can't even put leaves. Because, you know, I want it to look good long term. What I would like to do, and I did this, I tried something like this in a video I've done before. I think it might have been episode 55. But I was putting vines over this thing, hoping they'd grow over and form a roof. So I could try that here. Just a matter of finding some good vines to use that aren't gonna die if I move them, because they tend to do that. Also, I apologize if you came to this video expecting something professional. I am no professional. I just go to the bush, I try things, and I see what holds up and what doesn't. In this case, I think this might be one of the things that doesn't hold up. But, you know, hopefully the other three ideas I've got for over there do hold up. And guys, we've got a visitor. Look who's back. It's Richard. It's Richard the spider. He's still alive after the gassing of Arrow's brother. He lives. Richard lives. If you don't know who Richard is basically the spider that I accidentally took back with me from the Canada lands. If you don't know what that is, you might want to watch episode 96 for more context, I guess. I don't really make videos like that type anymore, but it's still there. It's part of the series' history. Basically, I brought home Richard, and he's been living at my tent for like past few months ever since. And look, there he is again. There he is again. He's still living here. He's living his spidery life. There's a whole bunch of vines growing at the side of the bush tent here. And they're eventually going to scale up this thing, which is going to be really cool, so I don't want to remove them. I also don't want to remove any current existing vines that have already grown a good way up something. Just because they will probably die, and also I like the look of it. Alright, I think the vine idea is going to have to be scratched. I just don't think it's going to work. But I've got another idea. Now, I'm going to call this stuff natural bush stuff. Natural, aka it just got washed here in the floods. I don't really know what it is, where it came from, but put this over it. Now I'm just kind of resorting to using anything that'll cover the top now. Anything that'll work. As you can see, we've got the Christmas tree in here as well. Alright, so before I show you guys the final product, now obviously the hope going into this video is that I would succeed in making a lean-to shelter so that I would have an actual, video to show you guys. And I wouldn't call it a complete bust, so you don't need to spam angry things in the comments. But you know what you can say in the comments? You can tell me what I'm about to show you. For a first time trying to make a lean-to shelter, would you call it a pass or a success? For a first time, without much prior knowledge other than a few videos to give a bit of an idea, would you call this a success? Now if you come over to it, it's holding up. It's got a back wall, some questionable side walls. You can go in it, you just don't knock it. It's a bit tight for space, but hey look, I'm in. I am in it, you can go in it. So what do you think? For a first time, for someone who isn't the best at building stuff out of natural things, would you call this a pass or a success? Tell me in the comments, and if it does fall down, I guess we can always come back to it and try come up with a smarter design. If I had to do it again, I reckon what I'd do is I'd get a straighter stick for there, and I'd bring it down closer to the ground, make it lower and probably wider as well. I feel like that would be a wise thing to do. But having built one now, I can kind of see where I could improve on it. And I'm sure if I did try this multiple times, I'd get an actual good one. But the environment I'm in right now, I just don't think is the right environment for this kind of thing. Because most of the sticks here, they're just easily breakable stuff. The soil, it's either way too mushy and you can't get anything to stay in it, or way too hard. It's a bit of a nightmare, honestly. But I think with what I've got here, it's okay. It's okay. Questionable, but okay. And I think in all reality, I should probably just stick to making tents, which is what my next 3 builds will be, when I've got the budget to do it. So I don't know when that'll be, but do stay tuned. If you did enjoy watching me half succeed, I think, do consider sticking around, hitting the subscribe button. But that's going to end this one here. Oh yeah, here's this episode's tree check, of course, we can't forget that. I genuinely don't know how this thing is still standing. I don't know. And before we end things off today, I'm going to go check out the creek. And just to show you guys what's going on down there. As you can see, the water's all still up. Very different walking through here now. The entire landscape has been changed. Like, all of this is new. All this land. All the water's brought a whole bunch of sand up. Water is still flowing. And I need to move these bushes off the path. But I've realised if you look under here, it's buried under here. It's all sand under there, see? where the bridge was before, it's all been buried. Coming over here, this thing's still piling up with all sorts of rocks. Before, there used to be water flowing underneath there, and now there's like none. It's all rock getting piled up here. Basically, that whole waterway is just getting blocked up with rocks. And what's happening now is the staircase is getting blocked off between the bridge with a new waterway forming through here. So I don't know how this is going to be once the water goes down, but it might be that I have to have another bridge going across here if this new water stream decides to be a permanent thing coming through, because it does look like that one there might be blocked off now. The rain isn't raining at the moment. Is that even a sentence? I don't know. But thank you guys for watching. If you did, I do appreciate it. And hopefully next video we are a little bit more successful in our works. I'll see you guys in that one.